The 150, Pride of Jenny a half length. Amelia's Jewel moves up on the outside, takes Pride of Jenny, is coming clear. Great pipe opener. Bring on the Cox plate. Amelia's Jewel, 3/4 of a length, Pride of Jenny.
Welcome to Bet Doctor, behind the curtain look at how pro punters operate. I'm your host, Scoot. This is our biggest show for the year outside of the Melbourne Cup. This will be an absolute corker. Turnbull Stakes, Hill Stakes, worth a gazillion up in Sydney. John Walter joins me. Have you slept?
I have, mate. It was nice. You got me out of the house on Tuesday. I thought this is beautiful. You invited me to golf. Didn't realise the greens were cord, the fairways are cord, and you'd been given a 90% discount, and that's why you invited us. But it was good to get some sun on the dungeon legs.
No, it was full tote odds and minimum bet laws. It was terrible going out at the Glades, but fingers crossed, you hit them well, and fingers crossed we can find a better deck next time. Looking for golf sponsors if there's anyone out there. Big show today, so we'll try and keep it quick. DK, have you got out of the coma from last Friday?
Heads up, beat. DK. Fucking keep your mouth shut today, will you? Just don't waffle, talk shit. Sick beat, yeah, last Friday. It was only a week ago, Scoot. Just getting over it now. Had another one, 440 to 250, as I just told you then, go over yesterday. Oh. So, yep, punch drunk from it. But, all the big races are, but there is Gunbower and Murtaron as well for the out wide punters. So, do our best there. Nico, what about you?
Yeah, going all right. We had an okay yesterday day at Pakenham. So, just chipping away. Spring, you just got to head down, bum up, isn't it? It's really getting busy at the moment. So, I feel like we've done form for 75 meetings, but we're doing our best. That's all we can do.
Mate, absolutely on fire. I think it's about 4 winners on top from the yard yesterday. So, a little bit of versatility there. Cranbourne switched to the synthetic at Pakenham. Just what you love. Quick look in the rearview mirror. Tropical Squall, Just Fine, Radina, the Randwick track. I thought it played a little bit leaderish and a little bit weird.
Yeah, it was weird. Some people were saying the inside was off, and
no, the inside was
I thought it was pretty on. Yeah, I thought it was very on. So, yeah, usually that's a sign that it was a fairly decent track, but it was. I would have said inside was the place to be.
Hanging on, all right. You see the first 5 over the line in the Epsom?
Shocking.
All rail.
Did you see the tempo? When was the last
tempo.
time they went out 15 below in an Epsom? It just 100% proved that it was a Saturday
first
benchmark
5
race.
horses over the line, all railed in run. There's only one good run in that race. Don't worry about that.
It's just some real snoozy jockey rides, I thought, on at Randwick.
Oh, yeah, it's a bit of a pandemic, the rider situation. I think there's a lot that struggle to make decisions at the moment. It's a very, very weird. It's just weird environmental round racing. It's like everyone, no target races, so horses, are they trying today, are they not? It's just hard to work everything out at the moment.
Speaking of jockeys on or off, D Lane, I say it nearly every week, he rides the Valley as good as anyone. Probably rider of the week, Amelia's Jewel. I thought if Pat Carberry or James Orman or any other rider would have been asleep at the wheel there, maybe Craig Williams would have taken a bit of initiative. He sort of tries to think about his rides and tactics well, but that was probably the best ride I've seen for quite some time. D Lane, Amelia's Jewel, Melbourne boys.
Oh, he put $1.33 favourite outside the lead. I don't know it's a big deal, but I think he was worried. He was worried about Froggy getting loose on the leader, I would have thought. There was a race at Bendigo on Thursday where D-Lane was on 180, Froggy's on Guerrero on the winner. Froggy did his usual lead, anchor drop, scoot, and handled him, got him. And I think he might have been playing in the back of D-Lane's one. I don't want Froggy getting loose on this Pride of Jenny. So, again, the thing is, Scoot, it's how they jump. I mean, they got plan A, plan B, plan C. I was listening to J-Mac before. He said he's ridden Romantic Warrior 3 times and 3 different things have happened. You know, how it begins and patterns of the race. So, punters would have been happy, or whoever took multis or everything, to just take luck out of the equation. Begins well, all right, I'll put it outside the leader. But class jockey, make good decisions. Just even Mark Zara, you would have seen him yesterday. It made me think when I saw that on the run sheet. There was a race yesterday, a wash. Like, a wash is no good, right? It's no good. So I said, what's M Zara going to do on this? And he just rode it beautifully, jumped, sat, waited for that other thing to go forward so he could sit outside and said, I'll beat you home. Just a bit of elite class aspect to it, and I know that's what you're talking about there, Scoot, with D-Lane. But
we ended up backing it on the MYM. I said Zara could just throw this over the line, just put it in the spot, and he's not much good.
But he was just watching that first 400. It was just he was just thinking out of what I just want this. I want this thing to go past me so I can sit outside it and then
have something to chase.
Yeah.
And it was a good ride.
It's elite.
Did the same thing on To Be Frank, they're a big bonus if you can get the guns on in those maidens and those kind of races at the moment, isn't it? Because they're just nearly auto bet, a few of those riders. So, absolutely killing it, Zara.
Pays to go in with a plan A and a plan B by the sound of it into a race. Amy Lucas, double yesterday, straight to the front, some good watches there. How crazy is it? Just go to the front, more likely to win.
Yeah, so again, like the last, pattern was pretty established, and they left one gaze alone in front with Timmy riding it, and he just pulled their pants down. But he actually had a good chat to him after the races, and he's like, it's a weird track. You've really got to ride it a little bit ugly. If you're up in front, doesn't really matter. Even if you've controlled, like if you haven't controlled, you kind of got to skip a bit early there. Otherwise, if they get in to the race off that bank and get up to you, the leaders, they can sort of beat you. But if you sort of skip, it makes them a lot harder, and it makes a lot of sense. It's probably worth taking into account going forward. Well, if you're not got your momentum up and the leader skip, even if you're behind the leader, it's probably the thing that makes the biggest example of it. If they walk and behind leader and then skip, the behind leader never seems to get in the race there. It's a funny little track that
ran with Kenzo.
It's very momentum dominant.
All right, going to be a big show, so let's skip quickly into the menu here. Donnie, he's on the merry-go-round a little bit lately for the show. He's bullish Saturday. He's going to launch into one. So, you get to put the mouthguard in for that one, I would have thought. Bit stiff with Molly Knickers in the flight. Walt, I thought it was probably not Jamie's best.
Another
sort of
ugly
floated
race,
back. Bit real passive ride.
Yeah, just an ugly race with a sort of stop start, and we sort of took the favourite was the horse to take on. We all got that right, and kind of just didn't unfold.
It was the run of the race. The way
it was.
Pattern and the tempo and all that. It's the horse you want to be taken out of the race next time.
Jay Collett probably gets it home,
for a spell, is it? For a spell.
I looked at Rise instead of spelling, so don't think we'll see her again this spring.
I think he said before the race that was his plan. That was which was a little bit scary when he said, this is probably the last run we can get out of her. It's she's a horse of the future.
The other one, the price had sort of gone by the time we did the show, but the Inevitable, I thought it was the best run in the Epsom, DK.
That was one I was alluding to before, Scoot, was there's only one horse you want to be taken out of the Epsom. I mean, you look at all those ones in rails in run and just all had the nice suck runs, railed through, had all favours with no weight. And here's this thing just finding every bit of trouble he could, poor Deep Perez, and still savaging the line, like being held up. It was just easily it was the run of the race by a mile.
Yeah.
If they run it that slow 10 times, the Inevitable should win it.
Yep.
10 times.
Yeah. Unlucky there. So the early shoppers caught one there. So it's going to be good. Hill Stakes this week, and we've got the Roman Consul. So big difference in prize money, but I know which race looks the best to my eye. Nico, Ain't No Deal Done, scratched at $2.30 on Friday at Benalla, then comes out and wins at $5.50 on Sunday.
Is that the race we spent 10 minutes saying like we've finally found a horse that's going to the target race that we know it's going to be in and win, and it? I saw it win and I was like, hang on, did this thing just back up?
Get the usual dad text. Surely you were on that, weren't you? Weren't you for the Sunday? Of course I wasn't. We all jumped off, didn't we, Nico?
Yep. Don't talk about it.
And didn't it go any good? It's gone enormous there on Sunday. It's gone like it's flying, that horse. The last furlong it pulled out there, like those Forgot You and Sabarg, they're good horses. They did their normal thing, like they cruised up, hitting the line. This thing just coming out from behind and just went whooshka. And then you look at the sectional and said, Jesus, all right. It just ate the line there. So, because it was 2,100, wasn't it?
Benalla, yeah,
so,
they kept it at 18.
Yeah, it's just going to savage again when it gets up to 2,000 or 20, whatever it gets to next start. It's got a good race in it, that horse, I tell you. Flying.
One to follow, and hopefully listeners of the show just followed it blindly, thinking that we still liked it on the Sunday. So good luck to you if you did. Back at Az is back. He's in first drop because he's going to go against Nico in one of the races here, and then he's going to steam into the Gilgai. My segment's now going to be called The Kiss of Death. Zach on El Tivo did all the right things, put it into the race, but then didn't get stoked up until it was all over.
Destroyed it and then got absolutely blessed and then said, well, I'm not happy with this.
Oh.
Yeah.
He's off the boil a bit, and I did see some commentary on Twitter yesterday and saw it with my own eyes. He's doing some funny things behind the gate, slapping horse around the head and all that sort of thing. So interesting headspace, Zach, but he needs to sort of switch on ASAP. I think I'm going to drop back to my own grade. I'm going to go Finding a Moral at Murray Bridge. So that's my benchmark grade, I would have thought. TopSport Steamer, Kovlika. Nelly got the chocolates as well. So make sure you check out TopSport. They're a big sponsor of the show, and they've been owned and operated by the Milhan family for 40 years. They're definitely a bookmaker you can trust. Don't bother signing up an account with all these new fly-by-nighters. I don't really bet you anyway, and it's a waste of time. So make sure you get around the Milhans. And let's get straight into Flemington because it's a doozy of a card, and this is exactly why I love Nico. He's absolutely fearless. He's going to steam into race 2, which is the Maribyrnong Trial Stakes, 1,000 metres, all first starters. Blue Illusion's a favourite. Guess what? Godolphin Blue, $2.20. J Car. Wolfgang's the second favourite, $4. Bodyguard, $5. Double and Down, $7. Centre Square, $13. Alternatum is $19. Immortal Joy, $21. Royal Hill, $41. And $101 for Serons. Brett Kavanagh down in Flemington, which is an odd one there. But Blue Illusions is the jump out. Nico, tell us why you like it.
Yeah, we saw last week the 2 races in Sydney. You know, the $2.20 about this horse. He's probably not going to start that on Saturday. I expect him to start probably $2.80, maybe closer to $3 come the jump. But this is him, Blue Illusion. He takes the lead in this jump out, and I thought this is the only piece of work we've seen from him. But this is a pretty slick time, 48. A lot of these horses have jumped out down the straight, so you get a pretty good line on them. They go to 1,000 metres on race day, but this is very good work. He has Jamie Carr in the saddle here. Interestingly enough, the blue horse in behind him, Eject, actually tried really well at Cranbourne and beat a few of these horses who are running here, and he seems to have it well and truly covered. Hasn't really been asked for much of an effort here. You probably think here, like, oh, what's he got to offer? But he still wins the heat, and I think probably most notable about his work, if you just watch him through the line, he just keeps extending away from his rivals. He's definitely got more left in the tank there, so I thought in a race where a few of these I think are a little bit chinky, he looks like a horse of mine that will run 1,000 metres off that, given his work through the line. Probably should position himself maybe outside the lead. Hopefully he leads, but there's not a whole lot of horses in this race that are real squibby. So I think it probably won't be a race where they go overly hard. A lot of them sort of got back in their jump out. So I thought that horse he beat in the blue, Eject, behind him, there's a really easy line to take. Eject beat Ultimatum in its trial, beat it by 7 lengths there at Cranbourne. And then Ultimatum went and jumped out against Wolfgang, and I think went better than Wolfgang. The second pick, who comes in here off winning a 650-metre jump out at Cranbourne. He's been highly spruiked. He's been everywhere in the media. You can't trust 600-metre jump out form. And then he went to Flemington, and I thought he was probably he wasn't let off the chain there, but his work through the line wasn't very strong, and I think he's probably a real question mark at running 1,000 metres on debut. So I was pretty happy to be against Wolfgang. I thought he was closer to like a $10 chance than a 4. Thought Blue Illusion's definitely the horse to beat. Bodyguard brings in the Sydney form, has to be respected given Espionage won. Should get a good run on the map, and I thought the other horse in play is probably Double and Down, Exceedance. Colt, Damien Lane goes aboard there for Team McAvoy. Recent trial Ararat was pretty good hitting the line. So Blue Illusion the bet. I thought they were the main dangers, and very keen to be against Wolfgang at the price. So I think maybe 250 plus Blue Illusion's probably a good bet.
Beautiful. I can't add anything. Don't think DK would have. Walt, no.
None.
No, I think we just blindly follow you there, Nico, and appreciate the insight there too. So obviously there's a lot of people that probably haven't gone into the depth there, so they can back the Godolphin horse with a bit of confidence now. I'm going to get him in early. First drop, early wicket. Assaulter, you've had a little bit of a freshen up. You got amenable beat, lost a leg. Gee, I tell you what, you're finding more trouble than the, early settlers, I would have thought. But welcome back to the show, mate. It's good to have you back, fresh-faced.
Hey, boys, how are you? Yeah, Buffalo River winning. Oh, well, Buffalo River's winning. I'm losing. So that's right. You're going to cop that, don't you?
I think you do. It's
one thing Azza has no problem with is getting back on the bike.
No, just keep punting it. He's handle. He loves it. Let's, you're just sort of hijacking Nico's segment. So we'll go into the odds for the Edward Manifold Stakes, race 4, 1,600 metres, Legacies, drawn 14, interesting fail behind Griff, if you can call it that, $3.90, Poific, good return, $5, Dasonic Boom, real line finding run, last start, $6.50, Nodachi, $8, Kona Sana, $11, it's a dual nominator, it's in at Moonee Valley also, Zadozi, $12, April, $13, Basiline at 16, Surprising 18, and that rounds out the major chances. Coco Sun I thought might want a little bit further again, but it was a horse that caught my eye at last start. Replay we're going to have a look at here. Nico, Kona Sana is the horse that you like in the purple and white stripes.
Yeah, this is the Oaks trial. This is 1,800 metres, so she's back to 16. This is a very slowly run race. I think this filly's just looking for a faster run race. Thought she was good to the line late, fastest last 200 metres of this race, and I don't think there's a lot between a lot of these fillies. None of them are jumping off the page as superstars. Legacies was well beat the other day. There's probably a question mark around her form around V8 and if she's even come up this campaign. And I just thought Konasana probably hits this race at the right time. I think she'll find a faster tempo here over a mile. You get J Mac, barrier number 4. Think she'll just put herself in the spot and hopefully at a faster tempo, she can probably come right back into play having that 1,800 metre run. So I thought in a deep race where the Caulfield lead up looks a bit scary, Legacy's, where's she at? And then a few other horses just don't look good enough. I thought around sort of double figures, Konasana's just going to be in the right spot, right man for the job. And she's already had a look at Flemington. So I thought there was a few positives there for her.
You wouldn't run Friday night, Nico? And she's evens on Friday night.
Well, back her in either. She runs Friday night, you bet up. And if
you owned her, where would you run? Even money in a $60,000 Mooney Valley, or have a good crack at the Edward Manifold?
I think she can win the Edward Manifold. Worth a lot more, so it'd be going there.
Plenty of time to collect the other prize money. Let's have a look at the Legacies race. And Nadachi comes through this one. These are the two horses that Azza likes. Talk to us, Azza.
Yeah. Jamie, so they went 7.5 lengths above in the first section here and ran home below par. I just thought Legacies early in this race, it had a poor recovery. No wonder, because Jamie Sparr, honestly, just had it work and that hard around the bend 3 wide on the speed. I'm surprised it didn't run last, to be honest. So I thought it was a pretty good run there. I do think it's a bit overhyped, but at $4, I do think it's a decent price here. The gate is sticky. I assume they'll want to go back and take a sit. Just that she jumped so well. If they do that, I thought she was a bit of a risk. I do really like this filly Nadachi. She ran as a 2-year-old behind Legacy's only beaten a length at Cranbourne. And this prep, I really think she's improved. First up at Mooney Valley in that inhibitions race, she was hooked back to last, had no luck up on the fence, and ran a nice 7th. And then in that Legacies race there, she was also up on speed on that hot speed. And although she got a better run than Legacies, I just liked her last 100. I just liked how she just kept running through the line. And you got to remember that race is against the boys, against the Griff form line, which I think is a hell of a lot stronger than that race at the Sonic Boom and Poifix coming through. I love Poifix, but I just think they're setting it a big task here, second up 1,600 metres Group 2. So I want to be against that out of that race versus the Colts on these two. I do see what Nico's saying on Konasana. I just had it pegged for Friday where I thought it would just win. But you're right. Maybe they want to see a fast speed and they've got a good gate and then they get black tight with her. Maybe they do run here. She would be I wouldn't rule her out at odds either. But I'm really keen to back the bracket here. I'm gonna back Nadachi as my primary bet. I'm not gonna lose on Legacies.
Yeah, I haven't really got a strong opinion. DK, is there anything that catches your eye in these?
No, nothing. The jury's out on Legacies out today. I know, but if there is an excuse, it's what as I said there, that car torched it, made it work too hard. Second up, just wasn't fit enough, which you can find with a few Moody horses. Geez, Moody favourites, we're thin with me. We're very thin with me. They just knock up getting rolled. I've mentioned that umpteenth time on the show. So, no, it's sort of Legacies and with the jury out. I mean, I'm happy to sort of look at Nico on that at the value in that race.
Yeah, Coco Sun, as I said when I was reading the odds out, that was the horse that appeared, but might be 1,600 metres, might be a bit sharp for it, but might be a sneaky one for the early quaddie. If you're taking an early quaddie with Scooty's big quaddie numbers. You want to talk yet, Big Red, or are you just in shell shock?
I just did a review, mate. You go, Scooty's special, Scooty's moral now, Scooty's quaddie.
Yeah.
Where do you get? When's the big 6?
Don't know. I'm just taking after Gordo. Gordo's morals, Scooty morals.
I thought Gordo just like pen, moral. I didn't think he was a quaddie man.
I don't know what he does, but I love Jamie Sparr.
Jamie Sparr stays on it. She stays on it again.
Sparr, that's one of your best, I reckon, Azza. All right, if you want Nico's analysis, make sure you jump into the littlebirdie.live shop and get all aboard his $25 a week Telegram service. It's critical, and he's making some great late decisions, and all the 2-year-old forms are starting to pop up, so you get a really good line on those really immature horses and lightly race horses and see how they behave, because a few of these things can go to pieces early in their career, and it can definitely sway you one way or the other, and it's been good going of recent times. So he's got plenty of subs at the moment, and there's good reason for that. Let's go into race 9 at Flemington. This is one of your other bets for the day. The Gilgai Stakes over 1,200. Star Patrol $2.50 in from $2.70. Jigsaw $4.60. Say Magic $5.50. Triple Missile $8.50. Showmanship $14. Outlaws of Revenge $16. Zatori still going around at $17. And I'll definitely pull up there.
Cause for concern's been up longer than I have.
Oh, I'd be getting dizzy as well.
That's
so yeah,
the trainer, mate. It'll be up for another 6 months. Don't worry about that, Walt.
Unbelievable.
The trainer loves sending them around, doesn't he? Just races
Crazy.
them.
just loves going the
25-star preps.
Love it.
Just loves suiting up, old Sean.
Maverick.
Yeah, he's a beauty, isn't he? I loves having a bet. Let's have a look at the last start replay of Star Patrol here.
Yeah, look, this is an absolutely extraordinary win. They went out 12 lengths above. James Zahar went mental on the inside. He sat on the snapper's back. It was gone with 400 to go. It had to go for home. It's out there on its own. And you're going to say King of Sparta's obviously taking ground off at rate, but that's King of Sparta and Benedetta taking ground off them. They're both good horses. First up 1,200. He's entitled to get a bit tired with how hard they went. I just thought that's an outstanding win, even though he was getting eaten up on the line. If you go back to this horse's Flemington form, some of the ratings I've got it running are absolutely enormous when it went from Noonan to McDonald. I think 1,200's good for it. In the autumn, you could say he was a little bit underwhelming, but we are talking Oakley plates and Newmarkets there. So he went to that Group 2 there. And I just think this is a very, very, very average race. There's only a couple of other horses in it. I'm just saying jury's out, say Majik after that first up run, but she has jumped out well. I just want to see her do it. And I just thought Jigsaw is a different horse now. I'm not ruling it out. I'm on the top 2 here. I'm unloading Star Patrol. I'm saving Jigsaw. And if Say Majik beats me, I'll cop it. Nothing else can win.
I think Say Magic's the definite danger, and I can see why you've landed on Star Patrol. Melbourne boys?
Oh, it's an extraordinary win first up. Like how fast they went early. Like they went 10-8 or something early in the first section or something like that. Or 10. I can't remember what it was, but they flew. You had Najeem Sahal down the inside, snapper, just going crazy, and he was up there with him, and then had the temerity to stick on and win the race. If he just comes out from gate 11, just cruises a much more suitable tempo, controllable tempo early, then and if he was going to feel his throat up, it would have been there, wouldn't it? How fast they went. So he's obviously come through that well. He looks. He's a whiz down. He's just an absolute machine down the straight, that horse.
Nico, Yard, anything to add?
Oh, he had a little bit of improvement to come first up, but my knock probably with that race was I didn't think anything else was close enough to win it. Like he was the horse that was in the best spot. Benedetta and King of Sparta were way too far back to win the race. And King of Sparta nearly beat him. So I can see the love at like $2.50 with his figures he's already done down the straight, but he didn't beat much that day, and it's probably a bit of a figure that's been overhyped, that 1,200 metre win. So I don't know. Like I don't think there's that much between horses like him and Triple Missile. Like Triple Missile was a big run last spring in a race like this. He wasn't all that far off on Common James in the Rubiton. Star Patrol wasn't all that far off him in the Oakley Plate, about 2.5 lengths, 2 lengths. So yeah, look, he's an easy horse to find off last start because he's a winner, and you've probably got to be looking for a few other horses that have their chinks. Like Triple Missile's only had one run for bloody nearly 12 months, but I just thought he was best positioned to win that race because Benedetta and King of Sparta were too far back, I thought. But all he can do is win, I suppose. Jigsaw does look a bit of a question mark, 1,200 metres first up, maybe better at 1,000, but yeah, I don't know. It seemed a trappy race for mine.
I'd be happy to lay Jigsaw, and I sort of went looking for Triple Missile, but Jamie might be in the spar there. She might just get back and lost, and she might not off.
That's the thing too. Like that, it's not as if they got lost. Those horses. He did the work to be 10 in front of him. You know what I mean? That's what. Yeah. My only worry is that he hasn't been lying down for 3 weeks since it.
Gut buster.
If he shows up and does that, good luck beating him.
Yeah, my comments were same as G. It was make sure you back this horse second up off that long run. I thought she was huge behind Benedetta. I thought she was entitled to get within 2 lengths. So I'd happily Dutch 2 and 14. But I think, I think everyone, the consensus here is Star Patrol is the horse to beat. I love it. That's your 2 races. Anything else around the grounds that you want to talk about?
Geez, there's a lot to get through. Bart Cummings is obviously an interesting race. If First Immortal gets a run, I'm pretty keen to take $4, but I'm not sure it's go. Magic Time in Sydney is one I want to go looking for.
If that was Randwick, you'd just be unloading Magic Time. Just probably want to see how the track's racing. True Rail shouldn't be too bad, but I agree. $4 seems more than fair.
I had some serious rain in Sydney last night. I'm not sure what they got at Rosehill. And it's quite fresh. So I think might not be a bone hard Rosehill leaders track. I'm thinking with
6
Rail
at the moment.
Yeah, it's a 6 at the moment, is it?
6 at the moment, yeah.
Okay. Sun's out but fresh, so see how we go. But they're a couple. But yeah, I haven't done all the work, to be honest. It's a bit of a trap day, old Turnbull day. There's a lot of roughies that can get up or run better than expected. So trying to find those. I tried in the Turnbull, but couldn't find one.
Well, do you know which way Goldman's going? Bart Cummings or Turnbull?
No.
You got no idea?
Well, I don't. It's an emergency, isn't it? Yeah.
He's an emergency for the Turnbull. So I actually thought I haven't looked at what price it is for the Caulfield Cup, but I think if West Wind Blows runs well in that Turnbull, you could see him potentially starting favourite in the Caulfield Cup. And the odds for the Caulfield Cup at the moment are ridiculous. I mean, however, without a fight, Francesco Guardi is $6 at this time. It's going to be an extremely strong call. I think the Caulfield Cup's going to be the race in the spring. The Cox Plate looks cast, in my view. And they'd be praying Romantic Warrior runs well, because if it fails and goes home, the Cox Plate is going to be a very, very, very average race, looking at the market. So what do you got, Cox? Is Amelia's Jewel going the Cox Plate?
Would have thought.
Apparently.
Mr. Brightside, Amelia's Jewel, Mr. Brightside, and the third favourite's Militarise.
Alligator Blood. Well, I think Militarise is the one to beat.
Really?
Yep. That's how bad I think the Cox Plate is. I think it's clearly the one to beat.
I'm just worried that they're so weak. Without a fight, it's going to end up going to the Cox Plate instead of the Caulfield Cup.
I'm pretty certain they won't. Yeah. Like as you said, if it falls away, but they're hell bent on, because just chatting with them, they say definitely not going to clash with Alligator Blood. So that's always his goal, and that's their number one goal is the Caulfield Cup. Tell
you what, if I owned Azzopardi, I'd be going the Cox Plate.
Well, that's what I mean. That Militarise and Azzopardi they're probably it's hard to split them at the moment. I think Militarise could be pretty scary. So if it beats Militarise in the Caulfield Guineas, whatever one, I'd be happy to back in the Cox Plate.
Huh.
I think Azzopardi will be beating Militarise in the Caulfield Guineas.
Here we go.
Here we go. I'm going to have to bet against you as well.
I'm putting the helmet on for this.
I was off Azzopardi. I'm on now.
Okay, Rick.
Hey,
I'm on.
It?
Oh, that was a huge win the other day. That was a huge win.
Imagine Azza and Rick in a bar together cheering one home.
It'd be a sight to behold.
Imagine Azza and Rick.
That's harsh.
With cheering Azzopardi home in the Cox Plate, like just the two of them.
I'd need the earmuffs like these big boppers.
Muffs on.
Tell you what, if I lost, I wouldn't be sooking about it. Just jumping in lakes and stuff on the Gold Coast and all that sort
Colonel
of stuff.
Sanders jump in the lake at the Ryder Cup. That was the weirdest thing. Like some 60-year-old dude just run across the green and jump in a lake. There's some weird cats out there.
That could be me if I get beat at Murray Bridge on Saturday.
Yeah, Murray Bridge. That's where you belong.
All right, boys.
Thanks, Az. Good luck.
Cheers. I appreciate it. Have a good one. See ya.
There he goes. All right, Walty McWalt. As he said, Sydney's copped a bit of a hammering. At least Flemington's going to be a good 4.
I'm glad I did the form for the only Group 1 race down there. He didn't even get a start, so that's all right. Next. Okay,
we can talk about it later. It's in some of the big bets. That's why I steer the show.
Okay.
Because, just got a good handle on it. I needed to keep the show rolling along. If we kept Azza in there for a full preview, we could be here for a while.
It's worth it.
Yeah. All right, so it's going to be a soft 5 or a little bit of sting out on Saturday. Let's have a look at the market for the Roman Consul Race 5. Maybe there's a horse that can go into the Everest from here, but who knows? Osmosis now racing in the China Horse Club colours, I see, $2.50. King's Gambit, $4.80. Celestial Legend, $5. Barber 7, Royal Tribute 7, Balkans 11, Namesake 19, Mexico 41. That's a field. Let's have a look at the last start finish of Osmosis, Celestial Legend.
So they went a bit slower than I thought they would here, and Royal Tribute sort of never travelled. So I'm saying he didn't back up, and Osmosis sits outside here first up. Royal Tribute had the run. Sort of doesn't push button accelerate, but they are sprinting, like they do come home above, so probably going a little bit quicker than it looks and sort of kicks in late and too strong. Celestial Legend down the outside, Namesake every chance, Barber right down the outside, just got warm late after being taken back from a wide gate. And I didn't Royal Tribute's actually nearly as strong as anything on the line, which is really weird, but a good setup for this race. 1200, probably, let's say it's going to be a 4 or 5. I don't think it'll be much worse than that, but it'll be a fairish track. Rail True. If I've got it right and Royal Tribute was a bit flat there, I see him pinging here and really setting it alight. I want to see Osmosis with a sit, but the way this barrier draw works out, it looks like she's going to be doing the chasing again, Schumacher. So if Royal Tribute gets along and
OSL or just at his heels,
an OSL or having to do the chasing again, True Rail, and that the grey
just
Celestial
gets a drop on them all.
Well, it was 4 days off a trial there where it sort of got bashed to the line in a trial. It was very rushed to get to that race, and if he's come through it well and extra 100 metres, Rail True, a bit more tempo, yeah, he's the one I think he can get over the top of them. It's interesting. Like I don't know why King's Gambit's in the race. I don't like it at all.
It's a flea, isn't it?
I think it's a 1,000-metre horse. What take it or leave it. I think that's what it is. Maybe 9.55 at the Valleys. It's go.
I did say that, and I got laughed out of your chat room, nearly.
Was that it? Was that another horse? That horse. That horse.
It should be going.
It's a set of golf clubs horse. Is that what you call? Is that what you get? For
I would have thought it's a flea.
Well, flea's tough. Tough. That's tough. But Barber drawn the inside can settle closer, but I don't think that's the spot you want to be in this race. I think he's probably one that wants to be where I hope Celestial Legend will be, which is sort of running line, getting to the middle. And, I think you'll get $6 plus Celestial Legend. And, it's maybe each way. And this race looks a bet to nothing. He's going to be super strong. I wouldn't be surprised if Royal Tribute actually improved just to destroy me mentally after being on it each way in that race last start. But, yeah, Osmosis is deserving favourite. But I'm concerned that last 100 that this Celestial Legend is going to be powering home. I think, it's a great little race.
I can't see anything outside of Osmosis or Celestial Legend getting close. I think it's going to be a duel between those two horses. He's so raw, Osmosis, bloody exciting horse. And then Celestial Legend, wow, it just looks like 1,200 will be a picnic.
What does he do? It'd be interesting. I don't really want to find a horse coming out of this race backing up 7 days later, So, but there's every chance one of them may end up in the Yulong slot potentially. So.
He's just so great. I just don't know if you want to kill a horse like that. Might just come too soon for him. What do you boys think? Any opinion on the Roman Consul or an opinion on King's Gambit? You've seen the horse Nico recently.
Yeah, he pulled his head off down the straight at Flemington, was only beaten sort of 3 lengths, maybe not in the superior form. This does look pretty good form, Celestial Legend and Osmosis, but recent trial was quite good. Sitting back in the field, I think from 7 they'll try and take him back to last and loop the field like they have in his trials. Thought Osmosis could probably improve a little, given I thought he was a bit off balance at key stages in that race last start. But Celestial Legend did look like the sort of black book. You'd love Ramwick for Celestial Legend, but he can definitely be figuring like good race. I'd be surprised if any of them go the Everest. Sounds like all the Everest slots are taken unless something drops out.
What, that mare, alcohol? Or?
Will they?
Yeah, they'll take her for sure.
They? I guess they have to, do they?
They spent $10 million on her. Why wouldn't you take her?
Why wouldn't you just spend another 20 on Imperatriz and throw it in?
Yeah, well,
I'd rather do that.
I think they've already showed their hand.
Yeah,
something will come out late though, won't they? There'll be a last minute scandal or something will pull up bad. Or
I'd be surprised if any of these are in there taking the slot.
Well, who else are they going to take? That's right. There's nothing left, is there? Like, who are you going to take?
Anyway, absolute cracking race. So nuts on the line, Celestial Legend, Osmosis, they're the two.
Yeah, 100%. Like, if I had to bet and was worried about not collecting, I'd be unloading Celestial and saving Osmosis. Otherwise, I'd probably just back Celestial.
Great way to be. All right, race 8 at Rosehill. It's the Alan Brown Stakes. No one knows who he is, but if you tweet it in, I might send you a sweater or a jumper or a hoodie or something, but we've got no idea.
I think there was a story. I really struggle to click on them.
Got no idea who he is. Waterford's a favourite. Know all about this boy. $5. They saved it. I think they've saved it because they know it doesn't run a mile. 1400 looks delicious.
They saved it from an Epsom.
Yep.
Winning an Epsom.
Well, this is worth
high quality, time tested $1.5 million race for a $1.5 million Allen Brown Stakes.
Looks a great bet at $5 in my opinion. Cepheus $5.50, Alencia, Nico's horse $7.50, Detonator Jack $8.50, Argentia $10, Roots first up is a sneaky Waller, Cathel sneaky as well $12, Palmetto $14, Lions Roar was a nice run last start $21, Bandersnatch $26, Cuban Royale been racing well $26, Spangler $26, and that's about the chances. Let's have a look at Palmetto's, the roughie that you think is value here. Punch in the breeze.
So Democracy Manifest back last the fence. Probably should have won the Epsom, arguably. Did get the rails run, like DK said. Probably would have been lucky to win it, but probably should have won it. Palmetto's the one in the blue coming up 4 wide. Second up, a horse that takes a few runs to really hit his straps and probably look the winner here, but a dynamic turn of foot from Democracy Manifest, and he's just way too good late, which doesn't surprise me. You know, this is a horse I probably wanted to find in a mile race next up, Palmetto, with a similar run. I think he peaked there, but there's a number of horses in this race with that sort of similar setup that this seems like an afterthought race, but it's worth so much money they've thrown it in. And I agree that Waller's probably saved Alentia and Waterford for this race. They're both dangerous, but I just think this guy with a soft draw, 52.5. I'm not a big weights person, but for these sort of horses I am, because they can be ridden a little bit more aggressively. And, you know, I think back to 1400, if he gives him a similar ride, like if he hits the front at the 300 or 400 here, I think he's going to be definitely in the finish at $14. It just seems it's a more price-driven play for me, and it ticks every box except for the distance. And if something outsprints him late, I'm taking $14 each way. I'm not taking short price. So, you know, if Waterford or Alentia somehow get beautiful rides, they're going to be dangerous, a bit like Democracy Manifest was there. But I think this horse is really well placed at odds, and even Wild Planet from out wide. It's a Tamalane's come out of this race, so there's not a heck of a lot of tempo, and it's not a bad. It's a big price chance as well, I think. But I'm very surprised if Palmetto doesn't run a huge race at odds.
Any thoughts down there?
No, it looks a raffle to my eye. Charterhouse is going well, but might be better suited at Flemington.
I think they will go to Flemington. Early money's been for it. Better drawn, and I think John Allen takes the ride in the Paris Lane Stakes.
I thought 19 gate apprentice book doesn't seem like a first option play, does it? Seems like it's sort of the backup potentially.
No, yeah, I thought Waterford would be super hard to beat here. I thought Cepheus is poorly weighted, and yeah, Root's very scary. I agree with Walt. If you had someone like Tim Clark or someone who you knew was just going to put Palmetto right in the spot, I'd be horned up as well at around the $15 mark or $14 Palmetto. I think it's a great bet. And Lions Roar. Oh, yeah, if he was first up into this or something like that, I just don't know whether...
He's the same, isn't he? Like, you want him at a mile plus, don't you? Yeah.
That's a real bugger.
And he's going to... whereas he's going to get further back, at least Palmetto's going to be on speed, hopefully. Should be.
I can see Waterford starting $4 favourite here and getting absolutely smashed in betting.
And Preble being lazy and back in the field and flashing and running a nice fourth, and you guys lighting up Twitter for another week.
Beautiful. All right, so I'm going to be Team Waterford, and I'll just go down sooking. Racingwatch.com.au for more of Johnny's stuff. He has been on a few of our streams, and he's been quite successful on those, so you can follow his Telegram tips or his Discord channel. They talk about everything in there, and it's 24/7 punting.
Can't wait for this yes-no vote to be over, so that one gets dismissed from the chat room.
That's sort of just raising its head a bit, isn't it? It's scary. So that's on Everest Day. So Peter V'land's not happy with that. Takes a bit of noise away.
I thought what he might do was make everyone have to come to Randwick to do it.
Yeah, just have a poll. He's probably got polling booths at the track.
No doubt.
He'd have every base covered. All right. Scooty's moral this week. Couple of sick beats of recent times. More like pilot error, I'm going to put it down to. Not ability. But Murray Bridge Race 5. Murray Bridge Cup on Saturday looks sensational racing there. A couple of DK and Nico's horses jumped the border here, so they'll be across a few of these. Dublin Journal is the favourite here. This is I think it's about a benchmark 70 or 74, 2,000 metre race. And Dublin Journal's a favourite here for the Hayes Camp, $5. Hoops, $5. The Map, $5.50. What's My Name? George, $7. Ishi Bandstand, $8. Oath of a Murder, $8.50. Ammo or More is $10. And Eureka's Victory is $11. Horse I like here, and I was petrified when it sort of flashed here. It's hard ridden early, and it's just in the blue with the white cap. And that's Chicago Storm just out in front. And the start prior, it was running behind a horse called Lord Vladivostok. So Chicago Storm and Lord Vladivostok, they're in the main event. They're in the Murray Bridge Cup, which is a pretty strong race. So a lot of those horses that were in the Balaclava Cup with Ironclad and those sort of horses, that's these sort of form lines. And now this horse is proven out to 2,500, the map in the blue there.
Yeah, you never mentioned what horse you were actually looking at or talking about. You mentioned every other horse in the race and where they were going, but not the horse you were interested in.
The map in the blue with the white cap gets third up 2,000 metres here, which is perfect. It was beaten 8 lengths to a tissue in the matriarch, so they've always thought this horse has got ability. I think it just tapered off last prep, and this time in, they've gone 1,200, 1,400, and I think she's just got the turn of foot just to knock these all out at 2,000 metres. There's a couple of dangers. I think Oath of a Murder's up and going and flying. They've got panel now, so they get a jockey upgrade there. What's my name? George has had everything go its way the last couple of starts. Hoops was a pretty good win. I think it was at Seymour, but I think it was just sort of running past tied horses to my eye. It sort of sat back, looked like a massive win, but it goes J Mott to Kayla Crowther, and she's drawn inside too. And Dublin Journal is also in that form line, so she went sort of past him. He looked like he was sort of standing still there. So I think the map is an absolute cracker here. I did see TAB went up $11 this horse, the map, and I was kicking myself that I didn't get there quick enough. But $5.50 is a good price. I thought.
What about this bloke, DK? Like, he makes us look like a complete amateur when it comes to paying. It's halved its price. Benchmark 74, 2,000 metres at Adelaide on a Saturday, gate 1, and it's called the map. It's just absolutely going to be this is Pain Central. I love it.
And he missed the $11 because he wasn't ready a millisecond after it opened.
Well,
you want to get those
if it ever existed.
If it ever existed, yeah.
$3.50. I reckon it's closer to sort of $3.50 chance tops. This horse, I just think it's a perfect setup. And if they go fast or slow, it doesn't really matter. This horse will be roaring home, and it's just much stronger form that she's coming through. And the horse has just come back in terrific order. So that's my moral for the week. But, I don't know if you boys have got any thoughts on the Melbourne visitors. Dublin Journal or Hoops?
Oh, Hoops looked in foal first up, so she improved a lot. Second up to win, but she's not much good.
Play a Sacred Bull. I was on Sacred Bull, and as soon as I hit the front, there was Hoops down the outside. Anyway, but yeah, I don't know about drawn in for it.
No, she's not much good. She's got Tassie form. I think she was second in the Tassie Oaks back in the day.
Adrian Knox runner, beaten 13 behind Arts. Yeah, I think she's just a horse. So I think the map's the way you want to go there. So I'll take that as a vote of confidence. Make sure you use puntingform.com.au to do the form. I can go into any jurisdiction. So Murray Bridge, I can go to Sydney and Illinois Walt. I can go up to Brizzy and terrorise Donny, and I can go to provincials as well if I want to give DK's markets a bit of a knock around too. So make sure you check out puntingform.com.au. Perfect for the pre or the post-race stuff. New sponsor, if you're watching the show on YouTube, you can see their little logo there. Big thanks to Tassie Racing Form Plus Pro for getting around the boys. So their summer carnival kicks off tomorrow, Nico. And I tell you what, the Launceston track looks in great condition. I saw something during the week, a little bit of a clip up there, but
yeah, it looks great. Look good when they had recent trials there. Launceston, good track. I love Launceston, Devonport. Hobart's probably a little bit harder, but Devonport seems to be the joint that shoots pretty straight, and then Launceston, you got to find the right trainers there, but hopefully we have.
We're going to find a couple of black bookers, courtesy of Tas Racing, Nico. Race 1 is the 1,200 metre maiden, and Stone Cold Stunner is the horse that you like here. Run us through why you like this horse.
Oh, we liked it last start. It missed the start, got well back in the field. Here it is in the yellow, circling the field. It was sort of $2.60 out to $3.30. And was just set a very big task. The leader's Almajay, who's just sort of got away from him, just tough on-speed horse. Music is in behind there in the yellow as well. It's sort of, around the mark in these sort of maidens. This was Stone Cold Stunner's first run for Glenn Stevenson. It's come home huge. They went out very fast in this race, 9 lengths above, or nearly 10 lengths above, to the 600 the leader went. And this horse has still come home in the 6th fastest last 200 of the day. Had a really good trial leading to that. In previous form with Mar Eustace, she managed to run third at Pakenham, fourth at Mornington, fourth at Cranbourne, and then ran in a really strong race at Mornington, was only sort of beaten 4 lengths. So going back to Tassie is a long way back in grade from those sort of maidens, DK. And this filly, they recent purchase for the stable, Cody Jordan isn't flying. Last 100 runner, she's going at 2%, but she did ride a winner last Sunday in 3 seconds, so she might just be ready to turn the corner, and having had to sit on that horse first up, maybe one that can improve here second up from the draw. So following our money, we're on first up, and I think we should be betting again.
Yes, well, as I said to you pre-show, Nico, this sale's turned up in the online sale, and I had a real good look at it. Because I heard Dave Eustace give it a little push, one of those races, whether it was the Pakenham race or the one after it. And she did a couple of nice things at the first couple, and just I was a bit worried about that last run and where she was going to go. So anyway, she went pretty cheaply, and looked, the new stable, as can happen, blank canvas and ridden a bit differently and stuff like that. So especially back in grade, that's what I was going to do if I bought her, right back in grade. But anyway, yeah, she looks good. But Cody Jordan, yeah, she came over here for us, had a stint at McAvoy's or Ballarat. And I got caught on a couple. She went to Warwicknabeal the first. Is it a he or a she? She, yeah. Never ridden Warwicknabeal before. That was bloody obvious when I went first time there. But anyway, back to Black Shorts down there, as she knows how to ride.
Well, she won the premiership down there, I think, 2 seasons ago. So she's capable down there, and she's just hitting her straps. So hopefully Cody can put it a bit closer. And I think if you got her, I think you'll get around sort of $3 plus. Main danger's probably Bow Bun, who.
That's from over here as well.
Their Victorian form is no competitor, but it does get blinkers first time for Trinder, and they tend to improve.
It was just in the most recent one before it was being sold as well. Ex-Robbie Griffiths thing.
Yep. So, yeah, I think around $3, maybe $2.50 plus. She looks maybe the one again, Stone Cold Stunner.
So Nico's going to try and bookend the card here, and the next race is race 9. It's a benchmark at 60 over 200 metres. Done his homework here. Trial, GG's Gemstone. Pretty good work here. It's in the lime green, GG's colours with the purple sleeves. Nico, tell us why you like it.
Yeah, I remember watching his trial prior to his debut run where he was off the map in the betting, and he was really fierce in that trial. I think this is probably the most tractable we've seen him. He comes back this campaign as a 4-year-old now. They've taken a bit of gear off and thought this is a really strong piece of work. He doesn't really beat much in this trial, but just the way he sort of goes about it. This is probably one of the more progressive horses in Tasmania. The horse to his outside, Bold Instinct, is a 1,000-metre horse and very sharp, so he puts it away quite well. He got to sort of the Tasmanian Guineas last preparation and didn't sort of measure up there, but his best run was at Launceston. I think it was on one of the big meetings there, and he ran third behind Muscle Up and Alvarino. Probably should have won that race. Probably wasn't Siggy's best ride. Alvarino, the start after that, actually came to Victoria and ran second at Brun King in a very high rating race at Sandown. So that form looks well enough for this. He's unbeaten fresh. That seems to be where you get the best of him. Barrier number 5, hopefully Siggy just keeps him out of trouble, and if that trial's anything to go by, I don't know what you sort of made of that, DK, but he looks like he's flying.
Strong horse.
Yeah, look, trial good. And I was just saying to you, Nico, about the vision down there. Geez, the racing.com or whoever's videoing the trials over here can try and copy the pixelation that Tasform Pro uses over there for the quality of vision.
That's what you get when you use the proper cameras.
Cameras, that's right.
They probably use the same camera they use. Well, they would be. They
use the same
looks
camera
exactly the same as race day.
Yeah.
Whereas down here they just use
whatever,
a few Mickey Mouse setups.
Unbelievable. 2023.
Yeah.
Hey, unbelievable.
If the problem with the trial setup in Victoria is they don't want to pay as much for the TV coverage to go and film it, because it's cheaper to have, outside mobs and contractors film it who don't have as good gear. So that's why they're packing them straight.
Pete Morganti's still doing the Western District trials and stuff, isn't he? Of whatever he's got.
Like the bloke that feels like the Pakenham back straight jump outs, like he's out hiding to nothing. The horses are nearly a kilometre away from him, probably on a camera that's worth $1,000. Like, it's a shambles in itself, but they're going well down there in Tassie with their filming. It's actually not a bad jurisdiction once you get your head around it. You do have to deal with some bad rides from time to time, but you probably have to bring back your staking a little bit compared, say, to Victoria, where you can bet up on the good jockeys, but you can find horses like GG's Gemstone who have a fair bit of ability and come up against horses even on his race Friday night, that looked pretty limited. Not sure what price he'd be. I wouldn't be surprised if he's odds on, but I think he'll just be winning. So hopefully we can get the result there. And if you want the full tips for the Launceston meeting, they'll be up on the racing.com tipping hub. Did all the form for that yesterday. It looks a pretty good card, so you can get all the tips there if you want to tune in. But good weekend of racing, and Tassie Friday night, hopefully to launch us off.
Tell you what, DK, they've got logins. So once you sign up an account, it's free at tasracing.com.au, and you get all the different, the head-ons, the steward vision. So if you don't sign up an account, you can just get the normal vision that you just seen then. But they've got multi-camera angles as well. So if you need a wet towel for watching that, DK, there's more. There's steak knives and there's everything included as well. So I think we might have found your little nook and neck of the woods.
DK.
DK, right?
Find a new way.
They do Black Book, and then you can get them via SMS or email as well. And a breeder mate of mine, since you're buying horses, DK, a breeder mate of mine buys horses, sends them over to Tassie and spells them over there because it's a better value play to put the mares and put all your horses over there, so you can actually get a better rate.
Okay.
So Apple Isle.
We go north, don't we, DK?
We
go north. Go south, go broke. Go north. That's where the cash is.
Hey, north.
Quality racing.
You poon. I wish they raced there every week. You poon. Nico, I was just saying, Friday night. Now, are they still going to do their Wednesdays? Are they moving more meetings to Friday to coincide with Moonee Valley? Or
I think they have moved more meetings to Friday night. An article I read the other day, but they'd still do have a few Wednesday night meetings. Easily makes sense, when you got the Valley and there's nothing for those punters to do in between, and there's no Canterbury on. I know Morphettville have a twilight meeting as well, so it does seem like a bit of cohesion there, and that's probably a good thing for racing, isn't it? If you can get nights like that where you can get a lot of turnover due to more people being able to bet late on a Friday night, that's probably a good thing, and it's probably what a place like Tasmania needs, all the turnover they can get to keep enhancing their product.
Outstanding stuff. All right, so get around Tassie. Make sure you get yourself a tasracing.com.au an account and start watching the replays there. Another place to make cash. Speaking of making cash, Donnie's back. He's got a moral this weekend.
Cracker this week. Race 7, number 16, Brosnan at Eagle Farm. It's a moral this week. Massive drop back in grade. It's the only racing in Group and listed company. Last time it was the track, got beat 2 lengths in the Group 2. Queensland Guineas. Barrier 1 helps. 1,500 metre is perfect. $4, free money. Go get it.
Oh, geez, I don't know if it's free money, but it looks exceptionally well placed, Brosnan, around the sort of the $4 mark from...
Gate 1.
Gate 1. He's with me. The map's Gate 1, Brosnan Gate 1. So it'll just be in the cupboard for both races. But the top 2 promo that we're going to finally get across the line, Tristan's given us $8.50. He's sort of taken us on. He's given us a couple of rolls there, $50 per customer. So if you think Brosnan's a moral and you're going to get on board me, the map is a moral. Top 2, both of them, $8.50, $50 per person.
Both Gate 1.
Both Gate 1. It's going to be gut-wrenching stuff, but short, conserve energy.
At least you're getting a
pray
price.
For a split.
Yeah.
Pray for a split. $8.50.
Yeah.
I'll be honest.
And I like that your horse has got the mad turn of foot when we watched the replay where it was under the bat for 712 metres. I thought, but I'm not going to say it doesn't have a turn of foot in Adelaide. That's the scary part.
What?
At least Brosnan's grey, so from Gate 1 you'll be able to see him.
If it looks like it's struggling at 1,400, but what's it going to do to the bloody dropping grade up to 2,000? It'll just blow them away. It could win by 5, the map. It probably won't.
I'm happy I got the $11.
TopSport Steamers, Kovalika. Walt said it needed hurdles. Almost big egg on face. Almost saved my day.
How good was the ride?
Huh?
How good was the ride? It was the best ride I've ever seen. 2 best rides. Winner was not a bad ride, but the rider from Blake Shin on Golden Mile, go 15 above in an Epsom and not get home, is unbelievable. And Moreira's ride on the second horse was unbelievable as well.
Yeah, it was terrific. TopSport Steam, let's see if they can go one better. Hopefully not for the layers of Romantic Warrior, because there's $4,000 saying it will win at $2.30 here. For my mail is that it's could win by default, and it's close to its top, but still some left in it. But horse flying.
Climb over glass to hold that bet, surely. Win, lose or draw, I'm not saying that is a great bet for a bookie to hold early. Would you like it again, sir?
Backing or laying, Melbourne boys?
Well, sitting on the fence at the moment.
Yeah, neither.
Yeah,
I'm doing some with the horse.
Yeah,
how do you line it up?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, how do you line him up? He's a class animal, but first run over here, he's got to travel, do it all, have his first look around here with a bit of improvement till his grand final. So, But
if you're a bookie, it's a no-brainer, though, isn't it?
Oh, nice start to your book, isn't it? Gee whiz.
100%.
4,230 on a Wednesday or a Thursday on the favourite.
Some of the ratings he's produced overseas, I've heard a few talk about him say that they could mark him at $1.60 in the Turnbull. So I don't know, he's obviously got a lot of ability, but the main aim's the Cox Plate, so I would have to wait to the yard to even think about backing him. But in saying that, he doesn't come up against much in that race, really. There's no other weight for age horse in the race. And he's
it's not a time on a Turnbull. I mean, not a vintage Turnbull,
it's a good race. It's got a lot of angles and it's deep.
Great race.
But if he's at his best, he's the only weight for age horse in the race, really.
West Wind Blows, obviously, Azza made mention to, and
Ossipenko's got upside, hasn't he? He could be a weight for age horse.
Ossipenko could be, yeah. He much improved last start.
Coming out of 3 really slowly run races, getting up to his trip.
And the other horse I think is ready to peak is Francesco Guardi. Looks big odds at $21.
Yeah, it's just a matter of whether he wants further and they're not even worried about this race. That's the problem.
That's scary.
Yeah. You'd think Ossipenko and Solcombe are the two from that stable that are, and even Solcombe probably not. I'd say Ossipenko's the one, certainly, that's trying.
This must be your bet then, race 8, number 11. I swear to God, every week, someone just knocks this price off every time on this show. $800 at $8, Solcombe.
Yeah, you're going to be last the fence with the wrinkle. Like, it can win. It's probably the horse you have to save on to, because if it gets 16 inside runs and bursts at you, you're going to be filthy, but I don't think you can bet up on it.
It's just it just strikes you as that horse that just explodes at Flemington, doesn't it? That Solcombe.
But it's not won there. It's weird, isn't it? I'd only had 3 or 4 goes there, but it hasn't won there. Yeah, it's weird. I thought the same thing.
Walter be dancing by the race 6 at Rosehill. He's going to do the Macarena, race 6, number 13, Macarena, $214. Macarena.
Yeah, so he's very unlucky first start behind whatever that thing was that come down the outside. Then came out and sort of got a sore back from Zach and still got home at Canterbury in a maiden. So huge class rise for it, but it does have a lot of upside. Nice looking type of a creature with upside. It's sort of getting deeper into its first prep. I'm not going to knock it at $14, but interesting. It's actually a horse that looks like it will perform well in a big field with strong tempo, so it'll be good to see how it goes.
Sometimes these horses like NCAP that just come through this Golden Rose, they're just too good for them.
It's a late nom too, right? It's a late nom that they've thrown
this field just looks like a bit of a pushover.
Set outside leader in a Golden Rose. How much does that take out of you? And now you got to sort of back up into a race. It's a bit of an afterthought. It's it's tough, but it's on form. He's going to go close, isn't he? But he's it's tough to chime in at odds on, especially. I think he's had it. I think that was his grand final.
Is Gaz hard on his horses? Portelli?
I don't know what he does, to be fair. It's very hard to find his horses in general, but this horse is obviously a pretty special talent. And, he can get him going, don't get me wrong, like Fireburn as well. Fireburn's one of the weirdest placed horses in the world in the Hill Stakes, second up off a 1,300-metre run. But, yeah, so he must be jamming some work into a few of them to be doing things like that. As a rule, I think they race themselves fit, though, the stable.
Yep. And the last one here is Murray Bridge Race 3, number 1, 1,000 on second to none at $3.30. It's had some really good form early in its last prep, but more importantly, I think the Clarkin and Nicky O'Shea stable are back in business. Obviously, that Ironclad in the Balaclava Cup looked like it meant a world to Will Clarkin. I think they must have just unloaded and bet up on Ironclad that day. He was in tears after the race nearly, but yeah, that could be a bit trickier, that race, but obviously there's a bit of confidence there with the $1,000 on, but even a horse like Aztec Dancer is a bit of a chance there, but need to do a little bit more homework on that one before just spearing into the $3.10 or $3.30 for that one. And DK, it's your turn now for another sick beat after last Friday. What do you got for us, brother?
I've got, we've had plenty of talk about Blinker's first time here the last couple of weeks, so I've got one tomorrow, and this is a good one because the best ones is probably Walt and Nico. I know when you're doing the start before, when you say, well, I've done something wrong, geez, this horse needs blinkers, and then the blinkers go on. So this horse race 3, number 4, Warrnambool Friday, 3-4, Lodbrock. He was good the other, but I don't know what happened. He just lost concentration coming around the turn, or he just hit a flat spot or something, and it was costly. And anyway, he had the very strong SP there. He was heavily backed in town on debut. He was heavily tried there. Mickey O and a thing of the camp that's flying, Pat Carey and Knackers beat him home. Now he gets the blinkers. So I guess the Blinker's getting a nice, and Farley does a good job. He's one of those aggressive European jocks, so I think that'll suit him with the shade. So I think they can make a big difference for him, and if he'd want to be winning better races than a 1700 maiden at Warrnambool on a Friday. So Blinker's first time on Lodbrock, don't know what price it'll be again. Last week we didn't said that, and they went and put up 440 last week. So yeah. I don't think he'll be those odds, but I thought he'd be hard to beat, Lodbrock.
Very, very profitable when my used put the blinkers on as well.
There you go.
You definitely got to look out for that. They are hot strike rate and big profit on turnover, so it's definitely a positive when they use them.
Mm-hmm.
Rings a bell, that horse, but I've got no idea why. Nico, you might. Have you tipped this horse one day?
Yeah, well, we tipped Mickey O to beat him on the syndicate the run prior, so we'll around him last start, but he did a bit wrong. So he's got the improvement, doesn't he?
And that'll be good form. Mickey has a nice horse. And,
yeah, Mickey has in a listed race on Saturday. So
yeah, I think that's the best form going into a Friday 1700 at Warrnambool.
Would have thought so, DK. Beautiful. That's why I know the horse. All right, I think that's a wrap on the show. What? What do you want?
DK, did you know? I'm just looking at this bloke's what is it? All Roads, the registration on his thing. His name is Nicholas All-Win Heatchote. I think he's changed his name. His middle name is All-Win.
All winners. It's not true.
All-Win.
All
seconds. That can't be a real name.
All seconds.
He's trying to tell me it's Alwyn, but I'm looking at it. It says All-Win.
I had no idea. Nicholas Elwyn Heathcote.
He's changed his name by Depot. That's when you know.
Someone said, I think it was you, DK. You said he was funny down at the Betfair event. Is he funny?
Well, mate. We've got a very big comedic aspect to Hidden Away there. So,
All-Win. Yeah, well, that's funny in itself, isn't it? That he calls himself All-Win. That's actually comedic.
That's too. My car got stolen on July 12th, and I got the call yesterday. It's not ready until before Christmas, 17th of December, if everything goes right. So I'm tipping I'm not winning on anything to do with car or the rego or the insurance. It's now ballooned to 1,300 to 2,000 metres. So we need winners this weekend. I'm not winning. I'm not Nicholas All-Win. I'm all loss.
All loss.
I'm battling.
The map all bust.
That's why crab and bug roll. It's the only bit of happiness I get in my life. Okay. That's a wrap from us. Thanks, boys down in Melbourne. Thanks, DK. And thanks, Nico. Big show. Hopefully plenty of winners. Oh, my God. You just look at it. As you said, Gumbow, there's just racing everywhere. So make sure you bet with patience and enjoy the weekend. I hope it's full of winners for you boys down there.
Good luck.
Good luck and goodbye. Thank you.